Hi, I'm Steve. You can call me Steve. Living in Northern Ontario, I do a lot of driving in the snow. The public transit in the city is not great, and there's no bus that goes to the Neutrino Mine. Winter driving is an essential skill in most of Canada, along with complaining about how the rest of the country doesn't know how to do it properly. However, skill isn't the only thing you need. If you want to avoid sliding all over the road, you need proper winter tires. I don't mean all-season tires. Whoever coined the name clearly didn't know about Canadian seasons. All seasons are usually the tires that are installed on the car at the factory. And they're good for sunny weather, wet weather, and the kind of weak snow you might get in most of the United States. They are not suited for the 6 months of frigid hell we experience up here, at least until climate change kicked in. Some provinces require all cars to have proper snow tires installed by October. Others just really recommend it. Unless you're a car rental company, oddly enough. I've driven rental cars in the winter, and it was not fun. How do winter tires work? Before I can get to that, I need to back up a step and talk about how any tire works. A good tire will grip the road as you drive. The more it grips, the better traction you have and the less skidding you do. A tire's ability to grip is related to how squishy it is. Obviously, you don't want it to squish like a bouncy ball, but a proper tire has just enough give to it to flatten out a little and stick to the road. This has to do with its chemistry. Modern rubber tires are made of polymers, long chains of repeating molecules. Polymers have two states, a squishy one when it's warm and a brittle glass one when it's cold, although warm and cold mean different things to different polymers. The temperature at which a polymer changes states is called the glass transition temperature, and is different for each one. Hard, inflexible polymers like plexiglass are in their glass state at room temperature, whereas something flexible like saran wrap, you have to cool it quite severely to get it to a glass state. I went camping in the Rockies once with a plastic poncho, and down in the valleys it was quite supple. When I hiked up to the glacier, the temperature dropped, and it became so brittle the wind tore it to shreds. So I duct taped the pieces up and made it a ground sheet. Getting back to tires. A tire is most effective when it's above its glass transition temperature. In most places where you can use all seasons in all seasons, the weather rarely gets below this temperature. However, here in Canada, where we routinely see temperatures below -10 Celsius and frequently below -20, those all-season tires just aren't going to cut it. That's 14 and -4 Fahrenheit for you Americans. Winter tires are made with a polymer blend that has a glass transition temperature much lower, so that tires will continue to stick to the road and don't shatter in the cold. This also means that in summer they get so squishy that they can deform and be ruined. Owning a car in Canada means buying 2 sets of tires.
Chemistry isn't the only thing that sets winter tires apart from all seasons. The shape and size of the treads plays a role as well. These are my summer tires. They're on my balcony because it's currently winter. You can see that the treads have these grooves in them. When I drive in the rain, those grooves throw excess water away from the wheel so I don't hydroplane or skid around in the wet. They are completely useless for snow. These are my winter tires. Liquid water isn't really a concern in winter, but frozen water is. It's hard for the rubber to stick to the road when the road is covered in compressed snow like this. These deep patterns in the treads compress and bite into the snow, and the wheel rolls over and grips. As the wheel rotates, the treads loosen and fling the snow away in time for that point on the wheel to meet the road again. You can see where it's piled up on the back of the wheel well. Just between you and me, these treads could be deeper. I've had these tires for 5 years now, and they're probably well past the end of their service life.
That's winter tires. They're not a concern for you unless you live someplace that routinely sees long, cold winters with lots of snow, like most of Canada and adjacent parts of the US like Minnesota or Wisconsin. They are vitally important if you want to make it through the winter without getting your car towed out of the ditch multiple times. My little Matrix still slips and skids more than I want it to, but that's a design flaw in the car and has nothing to do with the tires. Thanks for watching. I've been Steve.